First of all, remember the 2 ransom notes that came early on that went to the TV stations in Arizona? Those are the notes that we believe Savannah Guthrie was referencing when she said that she thought 2 of the notes were real and legitimate. Well, there was a Bitcoin account, and we've got some new information about a transaction in that Bitcoin account.
Day 79. An 84-year-old woman is gone. No body, no ransom paid, no confirmed sighting. And the FBI just put a name on a suspect notice. That name is Tommaso Cioni. This is not a theory. This is not speculation. The FBI does not issue suspect notices on feelings. They issue them when 4 separate threads of evidence converge on one person. And that is exactly what happened here. But here is what nobody is telling you. The thread that cracked this case open was not a witness. It was not a confession. It was a Bitcoin wallet that spoke once on a single day in February, and then went completely silent. And there is something else. A strand of hair recovered from Nancy Guthrie's bedroom is sitting inside an FBI lab at Quantico right now. The results of that test could change everything about what we think we know. You are going to understand both of those things completely before this video ends. Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her home in Tucson, Arizona. She was 84 years old. She did not wander. She did not leave voluntarily. Someone came into that house and took her. And by day 79, no proof she was breathing, no proof she was not. Then the FBI moved. If you follow active investigations the moment they break, subscribe to Crimexia TV right now and turn on notifications. Because this case is not over. The question is not whether the FBI found something. They did. The question is what Tommaso Cioni's connection to that Bitcoin wallet actually reveals. To understand why that name ended up on an FBI notice, you have to go back to the one piece of evidence the public almost missed entirely. A digital transaction that lasted one day and pointed somewhere investigators never expected. 2 ransom letters arrived at TV stations in Arizona. Not to the FBI, not to the family directly, to the media. That detail matters more than most people realize. Real kidnappers do not want cameras. Real kidnappers want cash. They want silence. They want control. Sending letters to television stations is not a negotiation move. It is a performance. CBS Phoenix reporter Brianna Whitney traced those letters back to a Bitcoin wallet, and what she found inside that wallet stopped investigators cold. On February 10th, someone made a small deposit into that account. Alongside it, a message. "We are ready to talk. Contact us." Then a link, then nothing. The FBI almost certainly entered that wallet. They signaled back. They said, "We are here. We are listening. We are ready to negotiate." Nobody answered. Think about what that silence means. If you took an 84-year-old woman for money, you do not go quiet when the FBI opens a door. You walk through it. You push. You apply pressure. You remind them what is at stake. The silence after that February 10th message told investigators one critical thing. Whoever sent it was not trying to get paid. They were trying to be seen. That changes the entire nature of this crime. Meanwhile, investigators went back to Nancy's bedroom. They went back to the beginning. And inside that room, on a surface, on fabric, somewhere that did not belong to Nancy, they found a single strand of hair. No follicle, limited standard DNA, but enough to send forward. That strand traveled from Tucson to Quantico, from a standard lab to the FBI's most advanced forensic testing facility, genealogical DNA mapping, the kind of testing that builds family trees backward from a single cell. 2 trails now existed. one digital, one biological, and both of them were moving toward the same name. A Bitcoin wallet pointing one direction, a strand of hair pointing the same way. But before investigators could act, they needed to answer the question that changes everything about this case. Why? Here is what a retired FBI negotiator told us directly about this case. Real kidnappers don't go quiet. They escalate. They remind you what you stand to lose. The silence here, that's not a negotiation failure. That's a sign the goal was never money. Read that again. The goal was never money. So what was the goal? Profilers who reviewed this case identified 5 behavioral signals that reframe everything you think you know about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. 1. The perpetrator showed no hesitation entering that home, no signs of panic, no rushed exit. This person felt completely safe inside Nancy's space. 2. The ransom letters went to the media, not to maximize pressure, but to maximize visibility. Someone wanted the world watching. 3. There was zero proof of life provided at any point. Real kidnappers use proof of life as leverage. The absence of it suggests the leverage did not exist. 4. Communication opened once and closed immediately. This is not negotiation behavior. This is a message sent with no intention of receiving a reply. 5. The entire operation, from the abduction to the letters to the Bitcoin wallet, required planning, timing, and confidence. This was not impulsive. This was constructed. Now here is where the case turns in a direction that is deeply uncomfortable. Nancy Guthrie is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, NBC, Today Show anchor, one of the most recognized faces in American television. Profilers raised a question investigators could not ignore. What if Nancy was not the destination? What if she was the path to someone else? Public figures carry invisible exposure. People watch them, study them, build emotional connections that exist entirely inside their own heads. And sometimes, rarely, but it happens, that fixation turns outward. It finds a target, not the public figure, someone they love. If that is what happened here, this was never a kidnapping for profit. It was a message delivered to Savannah Guthrie, and Nancy was the envelope. Do you think Nancy was taken because of who her daughter is? Tell us your theory in the comments. We read every single one. Behavior tells you the shape of a crime. Evidence tells you the name. And when the Quantico results came back, the name attached to that hair strand was not a stranger to this investigation. The FBI does not issue suspect notices casually. A suspect notice requires documented investigative basis. It requires evidence trails that have been reviewed, verified, and approved up the chain. It requires someone inside the Bureau to sign their name to a claim. They signed it, and the name on that notice is Tommaso Cioni. Here is what the evidence shows. The Bitcoin wallet transaction from February 10th was traced. The digital pathway that seemed anonymous was not. Investigators followed it backward through the blockchain, and it connected to an identity. That identity connected to Tommaso Cioni. Then the Quantico results returned on the hair strand. Genealogical DNA mapping built a biological profile from that single strand. The profile did not match Nancy. It did not match anyone confirmed to have been inside that home. But it pointed toward a family tree, and that tree had a name on it. Tommaso Cioni. 2 independent evidence trails, 1 digital, 1 biological, both arriving at the same person. That is not coincidence. That is convergence. And convergence is what the FBI acts on. Subscribe to Crimixia TV right now. When charges are filed in this case, and based on what we just walked through, that moment may be close, we will cover it within hours. Cioni has not been charged. Nancy Guthrie has not been found. What the FBI has is a suspect. What they do not yet have, at least publicly, is Nancy. And that gap between a named suspect and a missing 84-year-old woman is the most disturbing part of this entire case. 4 separate pieces of evidence pointing at one name, and still no charges filed. Does that surprise you? Tell us below. A name, a notice, a digital trail, a biological match, and still no Nancy. That gap is where this case lives right now, and it is the part nobody can answer yet. Here is where we are right now. The FBI has a name, they have a Bitcoin trail, they have DNA evidence processed at the highest forensic level in the country. They have a formal suspect notice attached to Tommaso Cioni. What they do not have, at least not publicly, is Nancy Guthrie. She was 84 years old. She lived in her home in Tucson, Arizona. She had a daughter the entire country recognizes. She had a life, a routine, a front door that someone opened without her permission. And on day 79, she was still gone. A suspect notice is not an arrest. It is not a charge. It is not an answer to the only question that actually matters in this case. Where is she? That question does not have an answer today, but investigations do not stay frozen. Evidence keeps moving. Quantico keeps working. And when something breaks in this case, when charges land or when Nancy is found, Crimixia TV will be the first place you hear it. Subscribe right now. Turn on notifications. Do not let this be the video you watched and then lost track of. After everything you just heard, do you believe Nancy Guthrie is still alive? Be honest. Tell us in the comments.